Alright, welcome guys to another Blender live stream. I'm your host Morgan Ozpin, and today we're gonna be continuing on animating our wrestling character. It's already been 30 parts since I've first started making this freaking project, so let's just jump into it, shall we? So if I feel low energy today guys, because I recently just woke up. I had a long weekend with my family earlier this weekend and now I am suffering from the hangover that is the result of me going out with my mom and my little siblings for the past couple of days. God, where do I even begin? We went to a play this Saturday with my mom, but we didn't have the car with us, so we instead had to commute there to the venue of where this play was gonna be taking place. I think it was in Newport. We went to Newport to watch a play called Delia D. But the freaking commute there was freaking took a bit of a long time for us to get there. We didn't have a car, so we every time we plan on going out, my family would just take all the public transportation we can find to go to the place that we want to go to. And getting to Newport was a little bit of a hassle. We took a bunch of jeepneys. It took a bunch of buses to get there. We also took a train and stuff. And this was happening during the weekend. And Saturday is no exception for there to be like heavy foot traffic in these PUVs, so because people are still like going home from work and stuff, so the commute was kind of a bit harsh during my ride to the venue of this play. But hey, once we finally got to where we supposed to go, we went to a Subway nearby. Have I explained to you guys how much of a fan I am of Subway? It's because of Subway that I now I'm very fond of making sandwiches for myself. But now that I can make my own like sandwich, my own sliced ham and bacon sandwich here at home, with a side of tomatoes and lettuce and Thousand Island sauce. I think the magic of Subway to me just sort of died out the moment I sort of learned how to make a sandwich for myself. I know, right? Like, like you might be like wondering, yo, Morgan, has it really been this long for you to learn how to make a sandwich? Well, I mean, in the Philippines, you don't really get the idea to make your own sandwich because you have all of these rice meals that you can make on your own. So I was never like compelled to make my own sandwich here in the Philippines. So if I'm gonna make a meal for myself, I would rather make like an egg and rice, or I don't know, like I would make like some spaghetti or something. Like if you're a Filipino, you'd never think to yourself that you'd make like anything that's made up of bread in some capacity. so like plus that doesn't really fit the college, how to say it, the college diet plan. Because we don't I don't think lettuce and tomatoes really come that easily to most people. I mean, if you live in the city, chances are you're not really near any place that would give you lettuce and tomatoes. So when I think of making a meal for myself, I don't think, oh, I should make a sandwich. The first thing that comes to mind is, hey, I should make some egg and rice, or something with rice, you know. Or you would go down to like Carinderia, which is like a Filipino diner, and just buy some Filipino food there or something. Never in your life would you think, hey, I should probably make a sandwich for myself. Because that mindset just doesn't exist in this part of the world. But ever since I discovered Subway for the first time, I think to myself, oh, maybe I should try making a sandwich for myself. So during my free time, I would buy some sliced ham and bacon from the grocery, and I would go to, since I'm already like living in a place that's near a market, I decided to buy myself some lettuce and tomatoes. I got myself a bunch of bread, and then I just whip it all up. I cook up the ham and the bacon, and bada bing bada boom, it's like the easiest meal I've ever made, and it's so savory and shit. Like, guys, if you ever feel like you cannot cook like some very good meals, just go make a sandwich or something. It's like really good to eat. But anyway, since I already know how to make sandwiches, the magic of eating at a Subway just doesn't feel that magical anymore. I mean, I guess their cookies are still something I look forward to, but the sandwiches I notice are just the same kind of quality sandwiches I would expect from myself if ever I want to make a sub sandwich for myself. Well, let me just quickly. They market their sandwiches as if they are fresh and stuff, but if you go ahead and especially if you live in like in a country wherein some of their main exports is, you know, is the food that we make, I don't think the freshness factor is really something that's really marketable here in the Philippines, considering that, you know, a majority of us are. I mean the farming, we do have like a farmer problem here, wherein the regular age of a farmer is around like 53. But in the Philippines, I don't really suffer from any food that is considered too processed, because we do have like a lot of options when it comes to where we can find some fresh food. Like, you can just go to a Carinderia or a Paris place, which is, I think, a place, a dining establishment that most taxi drivers go to eat this certain dish called Paris. And they would serve you, you know, pretty fresh food that they buy straight from the market and stuff. So we don't have any problems when it comes to finding food that's fresh. I mean, we do still have some processed food. It's just that the options to find fresh food is, you know, is numerous. So the marketing strategy of freaking Subway is really unnecessary here in this part of the world. So anyway, we brought this freaking... We ate some Subway sandwiches before we watched this play, and the play that we watched is called Delia. I was about to say Delia D, but that's like the name that the main character gives herself when... Is that the right pronoun? Give herself when she when she finally like won the spoiler, when she won the singing contest that she was a part of in the play. But anyway, Delia D is, I think, a jukebox musical. My god, my mom keeps inviting me to these jukebox musicals wherein most of the songs are already like created by an artist for an album instead of a musical. By the way, this freaking musical is about a drag queen, or I don't know what's the right term for this because I'm not familiar with the drag queen. A drag queen, what's it called? Circle here in the Philippines, but it's all about this one. This one character who is a drag queen who decides to join this sort of singing contest to I guess try and win some money for her parents and stuff. And along the way she like meets up with rivals along this singing contest that would want to try and take her down, but she also meets this other this other little sweet girl called Kiki. And you know, for the first act, it's just like a straight up story about these characters trying to win this contest. But then, around the second act, there is I guess a twist. Because for the majority of this play, it is depicted that Delia doesn't know how to sing. Like her voice is coarse, basically her voice doesn't really fit what most people want from a serious singer. And I thought to myself, oh, this is gonna be like a story wherein Delia will learn how to sing. I mean, it's a very safe that seems like a very safe story to have it be that Delia would prove to people that she can change and learn how to sing. But at around the second act, it started to get a little bit more deeper than that, wherein the second act is more so about Delia coming to terms with the fact that she won the contest. I guess this will be now spoilers for most people, but on the second act, it was all about Delia coming to terms with the fact that she won not because she was good at singing, but because she was sort of rigged into winning by this producer of this singing contest. And by the way, this is all spoken in Filipino, so I apologize if I don't really know much that I can't really get into detail about what the characters were saying throughout the play, because most of them felt like I can't really understand the Filipino that they were trying to say, but I get the gist of the story. And so for the first act, it was all about Delia trying to win this freaking singing contest, while in the second act, it's all about Delia coming to terms with the fact that she won this singing contest not because she was good at singing, but because she was rigged to win by the producers, because the producers think that her act is so much of a joke that it could raise up the viewership of their network. And Delia wasn't really having that, so she sort of like crashed out into a play. And the lesson, I guess, for this entire play is that, you know, you shouldn't really like fake yourself to become a star. and instead sort of like just accept yourself for the way that you are, I guess. And I think that's a pretty good message, especially since this is a message that that's about a, I know, I guess a queer type of person. I find that a very interesting takeaway from this musical. And I gotta say though, out of all the musicals I've watched live so far, I think this one has like the most deeper story. I mean, I don't think it's as good as, say, some of my more favorite musicals out there, like Hamilton. But it does sort of give me, I know, some Star Kid vibes from this film, from this play. The only thing that's dragging it down to me, this one little play, is the freaking soundtrack. I mean, the soundtrack for this freaking play just didn't sit right with me. Because this is, again, a jukebox musical, and for most of it, for some of the songs, I noticed they are originals, like they are actually made for the play, and those are the ones that I love the most from this one little soundtrack they concocted for this play. But for the majority of this freaking Delia D musical, quote unquote, they didn't they only recycled, I think, songs from this guy named Joseph Manalo. And I don't know if he's an artist or if he's actually a person who's actually part of the musical circle here in the Philippines, but none of these songs really fit with the context of the story being played out. Like, because I think the weakest part to me was the first half. Not because it was like, you know, it was just the first half is just them setting up all the characters and all that, but the reason why I think the first half really felt very bad was because most of the songs were just there to be songs to be played out in this singing contest. You know, I guess there's some songs that sort of felt like there's some character development going on. But for the most part, the songs only existed to serve as background noise for the singing contest, and not really like, because for this is a better example. Just think of like a freaking musical like Hamilton, and how like how The World Is Wide Enough, the song The World Is Wide Enough is incorporated into the musical Hamilton. Like in that one song, you get like the mindset that Aaron Burr had during his confrontation between Alexander Hamilton. And then you also get like these last few moments of Alexander before he dies in that gunfight between freaking Alexander and Aaron. And that song was good because not only was it a very good song, it was also a good song that had a story behind it. And whenever I look at songs, at musicals, I want songs that sort of have that story element to it. And with Delia D, it felt more like a play with songs in it, rather than a actual musical, because the songs that they play are more so like love songs, scattered about in this one little singing contest that they have in this. I'm gonna say this. This is more so a play than a musical. But yeah, all the songs that they played out are just stuff that they put into this singing contest for them to fight on this freaking contest, and none of them felt like interactions between characters. Nor did it feel like these songs are being played to progress the story, you know. Granted, they're good songs. I feel like I could listen to them on Spotify if I wanted to. But but as a song that you would play in a musical, I don't think they really incorporated the songs that well into it. But other than that, the story was pretty good. It's just that the freaking soundtrack really dragged it down for me a bit. The costumes were also really good. It kind of because whenever I look at the drag queen industry here, it kind of reminds me of media like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, wherein you get these people with the most colorful of outfits, and you know you just kind of like get mesmerized by what they sort of do with these you know, unconventional types of designs that they wear. Anyway, hold on, let me just check to see if OBS is running here. Okay, good. So yeah, I watched the LUD. What else did I watch? Is there anything else you can say about the WD concert? I mean, they're still if you guys are wondering, they're still the musical is still being still having its run here in Pasay. If you want to go check out their musical, if this musical interest you guys, they're still having some shows in Newport, which is the place near Naya, near the Naya airport. So if you're coming from abroad, the musical is literally just next to the airport. If you're coming to Manila, so yeah, the musical is still being up. So if you want to check it out, you can go search up Delia D on, I think, the World Resorts small website, and you can check out their showings there. So that's cool. So anyway, once we went out of our way to watch this musical, we commuted back home, and my god, even if this even if the show ended at around like 11 o'clock in the evening, there were still a lot of like commuters going on and about in this time of day. So it was like a little bit of a struggle for us to get a jeepney, then a bus back home. And my god, we were like waiting in line for a bus to come into our station. But then all of a sudden, this religious group came to the station and noticed the long line that we had to go through to get this bus, and and they were like, nah, we ain't having this shit. So this entire Christian Christian crowd, Christian group, I know they're like they label themselves as the apostles of some kind of institution. According to the shirts that I saw from them, and they just like cut the line, and I'm like, whoa, that's not very religious of you to do. And I can see that my mom was also having the same idea, because she started complaining with the people in the front of the line, asking them, hey, why are you letting these people cut the line? And the guy in front of us was like, oh, because this girl here looks pretty. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. But in seriousness though, but my mom was just not having it throughout the entirety of our commute back from this play. And for the majority of this ride, I can see that she was having this look on her face as if she really wanted to kill these these group of people. But I gave her a look saying, you know, Mom, you should probably not go all Karen mode right now. You're almost home. You don't need to ruin your day with an anger fit. So we went home and we rested for a bit. And then the next day, it was, my mom said it's Father's Day, and I completely forgot it was Father's Day yesterday. But it was Father's Day, and we decided, my brothers and I decided that we would go out and go to SM North EDSA. Yeah, we went to SM North EDSA yesterday. So we took a train. I mean, we took first a jeepney, then we took a train. And we thought it would be a very blissful ride to get from one spot of the region to the next. But then all of a sudden, our freaking train broke down in the middle of us riding it, and we were only like, the train broke down when we stopped at freaking Casson Avenue station, and we were only like one station away from getting to the place where we want to go. So we were like I was like pretty pissed at the fact that this train just decided to give up on itself the moment we were just a few stations away. So I was kind of pissed, but we were also kind of like wondering how we would get to freaking SM North EDSA from here. And luckily there was like a bus taking us to SM North EDSA, so we took that bus, and we were lucky enough to have a bus station that didn't have a long line. But once we arrived at SM North EDSA, not SM North EDSA, but more so MRT North EDSA station, I decided to take the route to SM North EDSA, wherein we went to Trinoma, then take a bridge there to freaking a footbridge there that links Trinoma to SM North EDSA. So we went to Trinoma. I tried to look for the footbridge and noticed that the footbridge is no longer there, and I'm like, what the fuck, where's the bridge? And I talked to a guard there asking, yo dude, where's the bridge linking SM to Trinoma? And it turns out that bridge is no longer existed there. Keep in mind, guys, that I haven't really been to SM since I haven't been to SM North EDSA since I think 2023, I think. And during the 2 years since I haven't been there, things have changed along that area. where instead of a footbridge, they were now like constructing like a train station in between SM North and Trinoma. So there's no longer a footbridge connecting those two freaking malls together. So instead of having a leisurely walk from one mall to the next, we had to like go through the road traffic along the road in between SM North and freaking Trinoma, and oh my god, it was so uncomfortable going through all the cars around that area, especially through the scorching heat of the sun when we went there. Like, my god, I hope they put back the bridge. They put back the bridge linking Trinoma and SM North, because how do I say this? I'm pretty sure that the train station is supposed to link up. It's supposed to replace the bridge. Isn't really under construction anymore. Like, construction plans for this freaking train station is no longer in operation. Because I looked up an article about it in the internet and noticed that they cancelled plans for it the moment, I don't know, like the monkeypox virus was in effect. So I don't think this freaking train station is no longer being constructed. So yeah, our commute to this freaking train station is such a hassle. Oh my god. This is going to show you guys that if you are planning to take public transportation here in the Philippines, you're gonna have a very bad time. Our transportation facility is just not up to par. I mean, it's much better than before. We do have like the PITX project that was that came and go, wherein we now have like a fully functional bus terminal that links all the buses to this one terminal that would take us to many places here in the Philippines. And we also extended the LRT line to have it go to more places than just the existing stations that it had. But compared to other countries, I look into, you know, some videos by Not Just Bikes, and I see the public transportation in their countries, and I compare them to ours, and my god, our public transportation isn't up to par with them. And if you're gonna be walking here in the Philippines, you're gonna be walking through roads that don't have sidewalks, or roads that still have like some dirt or sand to them. Like, it's really not a good place to. Yeah, if you don't have a car here in the Philippines, you're going to have a very bad time. Luckily, we do have, like, you know, some services like Grab to take us from one place to the next, but these freaking services are way too expensive, in my opinion. It's still like a good bang for your buck to find like some public transport if you could. So yeah, public transport here is really bad. But going back to what I did in the weekend, once we finally went to SM North EDSA, I noticed that there was heavy foot traffic coming from this mall, and I soon realized the reason why there are so many people here in this area is because it's freaking Father's Day. And I thought to myself, holy shit, I completely missed the mark on that end. And there were so many people here that I started wondering to myself if ever this is a good idea to be going into this mall, considering that there's news of a monkeypox pandemic going on around the world. But you know, I looked at the news. There isn't really that much. There's only like, I guess, two found cases of monkeypox here in the Philippines. So I decided to just ignore all the news for now and go into this mall. But I do suggest that if you guys are planning on going into any crowded areas, just don't go to any crowded areas right now, because we do have a epidemic going on here around the world. But we went clothes shopping here in this mall because because my mom has told us that we should probably buy some new clothes for ourselves by the time the school year starts, our new college year starts. But once you got all the clothes sorted out, we brought some ice cream from Dairy Queen. Surprisingly enough, this Dairy Queen that we went to had like the softest Blizzard ice cream that I've ever eaten. Like the girl went for the the upside down flip that you usually get when you go to a Dairy Queen. But he went through it so fast that not only because he went through the flip so fast, and I think the reason why she went through it so quickly was because this freaking ice cream is about to melt. So there's that. I also brought some freaking donuts for my little sister. You know, the same little sister that that saw the monkey ball. Wasn't that monkey ball short I did a couple of months back. And then we went to a fully booked establishment there in the mall, and I think to me that's the highlight of my weekend. We just went to a fully booked and looked at the freaking books there for a couple of hours. My little brother was interested in buying this FNAF book called Silver Eyes. Wasn't like Scott Cawthon's first ever book he published under the FNAF universe. Anyway, he was interested in that. Well, I was interested in all of the self-help books that they were offering up in fully booked. I saw Jordan Peterson's 12 Principles for Life, or 12 Rules of Life, was it? Now, I don't know what people's opinions are of Jordan B. Peterson, but every time I go to any self-help section in any fully booked establishment, there's always Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules of Life book. And I don't know why. Is it really that popular here? I mean, the title really does feel like very clickbaity. And the cover design is very good looking. But yeah, looks pretty good. I also saw some books on C# and basically Python and some programming basics, because I'm learning how to code some games and I wanted to see if there are any books about coding. And all these books look really good. Like they seem to be a very good tutorial on how to learn all the programming languages. But then I stop myself and think to myself, wait a minute, I can just learn this online. So I skipped out on buying any of these books. Oh my god. And then I looked into some of the graphic novel section here in this fully booked. And this is where I got interested in all of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure books that they have here in this one establishment. Not only did they have like books for some of the issues for all of the parts, except part 7 and 8, because for some reason I guess Viz Media didn't publish any books, any issues on that part of JoJo's. But not only did they have issues for parts 1 to 6, they also had like this freaking JoJo magazine, I think, which I think is like an art book that I think is published monthly in Japan, and for some reason they had this in their stores. And like, whoa, what the frick? And it's all like, it's also written in Japanese, so like the fact that this is here in the store just amazes me in a way. Anyway, I checked on some of these some of these books. My other brother was interested in all of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, and I was shocked to be given the fact that the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series is still in effect up to now. And not only did they publish, like, I think they're already like in their 17th book now. There's already like 17 Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. My god, who is still reading Wimpy Kid books in this in this time of day? But anyway, only are there 17 mainline Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, but there's also like some. They also started a spin-off series with Rowley Jefferson. And that to me came as a surprise, like, what the frick? They have a Rowley Jefferson spin-off series now? And unlike Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the text font for the Rowley Jefferson spin-off series felt like it was like typewritten in a... It looked like it was typewritten in a old school typewriter or something. Like, I look at the quality of the Rowley Jefferson books, and it didn't feel like something that the character Rowley Jefferson would write. Because I think the main selling point of this one book is that it is a diary written by freaking Rowley Jefferson, but but for some reason the type font that they use for this spin-off series looked like one that you could pull out of an old Microsoft Word processor or something. So yeah, that's also something I discovered here in this bookstore. What was I discovered? I guess I also discovered that I'm just not into books anymore, I guess. I mean, granted that there was like a period of my life when I would go all out of my way to just make a video here on this channel all about purple prose. Like, you guys remember that? If you guys are an old-time viewer of my channel, you would have known that I once did a video here on my channel wherein I dedicated a video. I voluntarily dedicated the video I voluntarily dedicated some time into making a video wherein I just talk about purple prose for 11 minutes straight. And purple prose, by the way, is a concept in literary writing wherein you go all out of your way to explain to people something that is happening in your story through creative means. Like, instead of saying say for example you want to explain that the jacket is black, you don't say the jacket is black. You would, if you were going to apply purple prose, you would say the jacket is as dark as the night sky, or something like that, as if you really try to go through creative means to explain that the jacket is black. Or you would say like the jacket is as dark as the eyes of a wolf, or something like that. And you know, I have some critiques on good things and bad things to say about Purple Prose. But as for what I have to say about that, it just goes to show you guys that I was once like one of those kids that really like reading in a way, especially writing. But now that I'm a grown-ass man with a college degree that's sucking up all of his time and resources, I am no longer the kid that really would go out of my way to, I don't know, like go to a bookstore and read. And if I want to, learn something, I would rather watch a video or an article about it online rather than buy a physical book about it. By the way, people always say, hey, if you want to learn something, go read a book, I mean, that's what I say sometimes whenever I end the stream. But you guys have to understand that when I say go read a book, I am being ironic in that whenever I say that, I'm being sarcastic. When I say go read a book, it's more when I say go read a book, what I mean by that is usually just go ahead and learn something new instead of after watching the stream. I don't really literally mean to actually go read a book. Because I realized when I, as someone who has, read multiple books back then, both, non-fiction and fiction, to either learn stuff or entertain myself. What I've learned is that books are, to me, are not like the best way for people to learn in this day and age. It's because of how expensive it is most of the time to buy a book compared to just watching a tutorial online. And not to mention that books are a static medium. It's a static medium for learning things compared to, say, if you're going to attend a class, you get like a teacher that would dynamically tell you what to do in case you are lost and stuff. With books are just, I don't know, they're just kind of like, they just kind of give you the feeling that you're learning something when in reality you're really learning things inefficiently in a way. I mean, if you're already like an expert in a subject, sure, go ahead. You can go ahead and read a book, because books, to me, is a good medium if you want to learn something in detail. But if you're going to start off learning something new, say for example, you want to learn how to code or learn how to better your life through self-help books, and you just don't have any background on those subjects, it's better not to enter the world of books just yet. Instead, go seek out, maybe a therapist or an expert or an article or a video online discussing a certain skill or branch of knowledge you want to learn. Because books will only complicate that, in my opinion, because of how, because in most cases books will have this sort of language to them wherein how do I say this? Like, books have a sort of tone to them wherein they expect you to already be a reader in a way. But given that we live in like the 21st century, wherein we now have mobile devices and shit, reading to most people isn't really a skill that they have, especially the skill to critically analyze and review a written article. To me, I don't think people have that ability anymore, or at least that ability doesn't really come off naturally anymore to most people. To most people, I think the best way to learn for them is to watch a video or a documentary or attend a class. Like books doesn't work with the mindset that we have conditioned ourselves in the 21st century. In the world of, you know, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, we have now sort of like conditioned ourselves to be more, I guess, equipped in quickly analyzing more visual forms of media rather than written forms of media. And I know I'm just saying, hey guys, you should probably not read books to learn stuff because you're dumb. I know I'm saying that, but in reality, it's actually kind of true in a way. I mean, just look at all the freaking articles online wherein kids are having a hard time learning because they have now conditioned themselves to sort of to watch TikTok or YouTube or Facebook. I mean, it's not the fault of most of all people that they don't know how to read. It's just that the environment that they are born into makes it so that they don't really have that ability anymore to critically analyze more static forms of media like a book, you know. Which is why it's best to sort of just admit defeat. If ever you're like a teacher who is still like, yo, you should go read books because that's the best way you can learn. Just get rid of that mindset, because we now live in a different sort of environment wherein now the game plan now is to learn through more visual forms of media like videos or pictures or through interactions with your students or teacher, given that, you know, video games are already like a big thing nowadays. And you know, the big part of games is that you get to interact with the program that you're investing your time into, and that's what it reminds me of freaking one-on-one interactions between a student and a teacher. So teachers should, I guess, teachers and, you know, even schools should incorporate more dynamic forms of teaching rather than just relying on books all the time, or even PDFs. PDFs, I think, is like the newest way teachers teach students, and to me, I don't think that's really that effective. I mean, it's a good thing that I guess we no longer need to have a physical book to carry on to learn something. But then again, it's like PDF still is still a written form of media, and for most people don't really have that the time and patience to actually, you know, read a book. So I think the best solution to that is to accept defeat. First of all, we need to accept defeat that we are no longer the kind of people that would read books, and we should just move on to more better forms of better mediums like videos or basically videos, I'd say. Or, you know, maybe podcasts, because hey, as a grown man, I would more so listen to a podcast than actually read a book. So better to move to those better forms of media rather than to stick with books and stuff. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Freaking books. Let me make another frame right here. Okay. Although, of course, then again, though, I do understand why we would want to promote reading. Because even if you know, I'm willing to admit that books really are going out of fashion, but the skill to read is still something we need to promote in a way. It's just that if I really want to promote the skill of reading, we need to do so in more practical forms. Because I don't like the fact that in some schools here in the Philippines they still like require you to read some books we would not really have any use in our lives. Like, read this one. Sometimes I remember, like, back in the day, it was like a requirement for some students here in the Philippines to read novels like Noli Me Tangere or El Filibusterismo, which is a bunch of books published in the late 19th century by this one guy named Jose P. Rizal. It's a very famous book in Philippine history. But as for how it applies to our modern lives, this book has no use to a student here in the Philippines, and I think that's a fault of organizations still requiring us to read these books. If we want to promote reading, there needs to be like some sort of practical application to it now, rather than just to force students to read classics like Noli Me Tangere. Maybe we can promote. Maybe instead of teaching kids to read through classics like Noli Me Tangere or El Filibusterismo, you can promote reading through, say, getting them to read, I don't know, like a tax form or something, or since students are into games now, you can maybe have them try to critically analyze like a story being told out in a video game or something. That way you get people more engaged, rather than to force them into lessons wherein it is like when they don't really find any value in what you teach. I guess it's the one thing we need to incorporate in classrooms nowadays. We need lessons wherein we can get students engaged with the lessons that's being taught. We don't need to stick to practices and traditions that were only like really good in the I don't know, the early half of the 20th century. We need like new strategies to get like freaking students to learn stuff. And to do that, we need to incorporate better ways of learning, right, than to read books or PDFs and stuff. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about freaking education here. Yes. And we were talking about books. How did we how did we devolve this topic into the state of education here in general? I mean, let me try to finish this one freaking frame here. Anyway, once we went to, once we had our stay at Fully Booked, we went back home and we waited for my mom because we decided to meet up at Burger King to celebrate Father's Day. I know some people say that Burger King is like the worst fast food, I don't know, restaurant in the world, I guess. I don't know what Americans think about Burger King. But to me, to me, Burger King is the GOAT. I'm willing to admit that. Burger King is just the GOAT to me. And people say, "Oh my God, Morgan, do you want to kill yourself with Burger King?" And I'm like, dude, this is a fast food establishment. Any fast food establishment I go to is always gonna be killing me, in a way. And you know, people say that, you know, when you go to Burger King, you get like raw ingredients and shit. But in the Philippines, I think the Burger King in the Philippines is up to par with the McDonald's here in the Philippines. They're like neck and neck. There's like none of the Burger King ingredients to me feels raw and shit. And not to mention that in the Burger King here in the Philippines, they are having these very good meal deals wherein for around like $10 you get 3 burgers, 3 sides, and 3 drinks. Like, can you imagine that? That's like really a really good deal. And you know, there's also options to only get like two burgers, 2 drinks, and 2 fries for like half that price. But you know, it's a pretty good deal in my opinion. I mean, in terms of fast food prices, like 3 burgers for $10 is like a deal breaker to me. Not to mention that their onion rings to me is like my most favorite side dish, period. In terms of all all side dishes that you can get in a fast food establishment that's not sweet, I would say the Burger King's onion rings is like S tier for me, in my opinion. So I really like the onion rings there. So I don't get why people don't like Burger King. Maybe if I go to a different country, maybe the Burger King there would suck. Overall, Burger King is good. I don't know why people are so mad about Burger King being one of the worst fast food establishments in the world. Now that comes into question. What to me is the worst fast food restaurant in the world? If it's not Burger King. Well, let's see. Let me go through the numbers here. I mean, I don't really have any fast food that I actually, you know, that I would actively hate or something. I don't have a fast food I would actively hate on its menu or anything. I mean, I guess there would be Tropical Hut in a way. Tropical Hut, by the way, is this local fast food establishment here in the Philippines. And oh wait, I should probably get rid of these markings here. To me, freaking Tropical Hut has, to me, I think it has some of the best burgers here. I mean, their burgers are cafeteria. I feel like they're cafeteria made, but they are very big. And their fries, they're good fries, but they're not as good as, like, say, any other fries here in the Philippines. And they also serve it in this very tiny little cup by default. But overall, I still like Tropical Hut's burgers. Although I have to say though, Tropical Hut's branches feel like they are ripped out of the 1960s or something, and as if their dining establishments feel like they are made from furniture that they haven't replaced since the 1900s or something. Because unlike, say, McDonald's or Jollibee or Burger King, where you get all these modern furnishings in their branches, with Tropical Hut, they still sort of stick with the good old brick and mortar style that you see during the early 2000s and shit. And I would say they still like have a very bathroom aesthetic to their walls and stuff. Like, you know, like those bathroom walls wherein it's just a bunch of white tiles scattered about. That to me just reminds me of Tropical Hut in a way, because their walls are always lined up with these tiles that sort of look ugly in a way, but they are kind of charming in a sense that this is something I haven't really seen since the 2000s, where that's the norm for establishments like McDonald's or Jollibee. So yeah, that's I guess that's the one establishment I hate, but not really something I actively hate. It's just something I notice, and in any ways, I still find the style that Tropical Hut goes for in their architecture of their stores really fascinating and intriguing, because it's, you know, it's a I mean, compared to all the boring design plans of most McDonald's branches, I feel like Tropical Hut really stands out in that aspect. Even though it's not really something that I wish for a establishment that tries to go out of the norm to look like. It's still a pretty charming decision for Tropical Hut to keep its old design. And plus, you know, every time I go to a freaking Tropical Hut, there's always going to be a bunch of elderly people in Tropical Hut. Just because to them, to the elderly, if ever they want to go to a fast food establishment, it's gonna be Tropical Hut because it's a brand that really existed for a very long time here in the Philippines. I think it existed even before McDonald's made its way here in the Philippines. But anyway, anytime I go to a Tropical Hut, I'd always see some elderly people talking with each other, and sometimes I also get to chat with them, and it's always pretty sweet talking to some of these older generations of people, trying to understand what's life before my time. In a way, like Tropical Hut just feels like you're walking into a different world that hasn't existed since the introduction of the iPhone or something. Alright, let me just erase this little part here because that's too deep there. Alright, let me try to finish up all the freaking frames here before I start talking again. Alright, let me just make a line here. Make a line here. By the way, I named the stream "Don't Talk to Me Until I Had My Coffee," and I'm just realizing right now that not only did I not take any coffee this morning, I've also not taken any breakfast. So I don't know if I might end stream early just to make myself some breakfast. But who knows? What to do next? I can make a sandwich for myself this morning, maybe. Wow, I got a freaking message from my mom. I'm gonna be picking up my little sister from kindergarten today. So it's gonna be something I'll be doing later. Alright, let me just see this animation in effect here. Okay. Alright, now let's make this layer here. Okay, let's go ahead and make some strokes here. Probably also make a bunch of strokes here as well. Go. Ugh. By the way, guys, if you're wondering, I'm gonna be, after this stream, my next stream it's gonna be about me making some game assets on Blender. So if you guys are interested in that, that will be my next stream for next time. I'm gonna be making a space shooter game for the web, or maybe PC. I can also do one for PC if I could, for Windows desktop. You see, I've been wondering ever since I've started learning how to game dev. I'm now trying to wonder how I'll be able to test out builds of my game if ever I wanna import them to Apple or Linux, or yeah, Apple or Linux, because unlike because I don't really have like a device that's that have those operating systems in mind. So I'm like wondering, how am I going to test these builds out if I don't have like an Apple device with me? Because I do want to try. I do want to try to make games for other operating systems as well. Not only because it would reach a wider audience, but because I want to encourage people to look into other operating systems and not just stick to Windows, because Windows can sometimes suck. So I want to try and make games for those platforms as well. The only problem is that I don't have a freaking device to test my games with on those ports. erase this part here. You know, once I get this freaking game running, I mean this whole freaking space shooter thing I have in mind, I think I may be doing another video, another 4 Dummies video on game development. Consider that, you know, I already made like technically 3 games already. I mean this, I already made 2 games and a game right now that's working in progress. So I want to try and make a 4 Dummies video in game development at some point. That'll be pretty fun. Although I think it'll be a hassle trying to explain to people how to code in a game editor. Like, good dough. I just realized that ever since I started learning game development, I sort of came to neglect another project I had in mind. You guys remember when I started teaching you guys how to work on some dental CAD softwares before I let go of that project entirely? Yeah, I think I'm gonna cancel those types of streams for now. Not because I think it's boring or anything, but because it's how do you say this? I would say it's a little bit of a different avenue for me to just teach you guys how to use a medical software like Blue Sky Bio. I'm teaching you guys how to make like entertaining things here on the vanilla log, and that sort of video or live stream idea doesn't work here on this type of channel. Maybe I'll probably try to do that in another channel, like maybe Morgan Ozpin, wherein, you know, nothing is really set in stone as to what that channel is all about. But for the vanilla log, I think I'm gonna drop that entire project entirely. Plus, I think there's some sort of ethical dilemma that I come across when I first started presenting those types of videos to the masses. And it's that if I'm gonna be showing you guys all these medical lessons, are you gonna be compelled to be doing this on your own? Then the thought came to my mind that what if the person who is learning this isn't really a medical professional at all, and instead someone who is trying to get into the industry illegally by putting up these services that tell people that, hey, he's a actual dentist, when in reality he's not. So I don't wanna don't want to be a gatekeeper when it comes to these types of softwares, because I do want people to learn these things in the end. Especially if you're like a dental student, you want to learn something that might put you ahead in the industry. You may want to learn how to do dental CAD, but I try to form an ethical opinion on what this sort of project would do to me, and I realized that I think this would do more harm than good, considering that there are people out there. I mean, there are even news out there of people trying to sell, clueless customers into buying these orthodontic aligners that claim that they would fix their teeth entirely, when in fact it doesn't, and in fact provides more complications to their oral cavity compared to if they were to just get an orthodontic aligner from a actual dentist. So I'm gonna have to maybe pause on that project for now. That anything that involves taking someone's life, putting someone's life at risk, is something that I'll probably not do for this channel. I'll just stick to drawing cartoons and video games, I guess. But anyway, there's still some avenues for you guys to learn these types of content, these types of skills. It's just that those skills are not gonna be coming from my mouth anymore. Because I think I've opened up the gates too much, to a point that we're getting all of these quote-unquote dental technicians to make these faulty designs to their patients and stuff. But if you don't want to learn about these stuff, I suggest you learn it through people like Corey Glenn, wherein I at least have the trust that he will... How do we say this? He will only attract people who are actually dentists, considering the tone that he provides for his videos and stuff. So yeah, the Vanillalog it's not the Vanillalog medical project is no longer in effect, even if that's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever said I've ever did in this channel. Like, what the frick? What was I thinking when I started teaching you guys about medical shit here in the Vanillalog? I'll probably do that in my own time, but not here in YouTube. Just make these patterns here. let me see this in full effect. Let me erase this part here. Okay. Alright, let's make the hands here. See. Okay. Let's make some of these little creases here as well. Okay. And somewhere here. Okay. Layer here. All right. Then let's make edit mode. Alright, let's put that assist there. Oh, that's the shoe. Mine. Okay, let's select this hand here. C, Control V. Okay. Oh my god. Let me just drink some water. Ah, okay. Okay. Sweet. Here. Okay, let's find a pattern here. Ooh, go right. You know, whenever I catch myself talking to myself on stream, I always think that I would talk louder, but when I listen to my stream, I notice I really do kind of whisper a lot of what I try to say. humming to whatever's being heard in the soundtrack that I've concocted here for the stream. But I realized I'm listening to the soundtrack a few seconds ago here on my stream because I set the latency of my OBS to normal. I mean, it is kind of like a delay between what I'm doing right now and what's actually happening on stream. So there's if I want to respond to you guys, there might be a little bit of some kind of lag or some sort of delay between what's being outputted here on stream and what's actually being done on the present time. I mean, I can set to ultra low if I wanted to, but I think I might crash my PC if I do that. Keep in mind that I'm more so a creative software streamer, so if ever I'm gonna set it to anything higher than normal latency, anything lower than normal latency, it might crash my computer anyway. Speaking of which, I think I've sort of shoot myself in the foot by making myself a creative software VTuber, I guess. Because a part of what makes creative software frustrating is the fact that it consumes a lot of your CPU's power and memory. And it's kind of hard to, you know, open up face tracking and the VTuber software if that too also consumes a lot of your computer's memory and RAM and all that shit. So for about like half of my streams, it would just be me sitting as a PNG version of myself rather than a VTuber model of myself. Speaking of creative software VTubers, I don't really see a lot of people, or I guess a lot of creative software VTubers out there that really just focuses on the software side of things rather than on the game side of things. I mean, there are of course live streamers there and VTubers. There's Ina from Hololive, and there are also some other stuff you can see on Twitch. And there's also, I guess, Annie TF, I guess, but he also does games. And there's Sanjo, I guess. Sanjo also does Blender art on his YouTube channel, on his Twitch. I don't really see a lot of people. I've yet to see a VTuber that has a primary audience of game developers or something, you know. I want there to be a VTuber for that. It'll make like game dev much more fun, like, in a way. Alright, let me just fix up these frames here. See this one more time. Okay. Nice. Am I finished with this? I need to create, yeah, create the line over there. Alright. It's always this wrestler that I have a problem with because there's so many patterns in his suit that I have to keep track of. There we go. Oh. Okay, let's paint up the patterns of his mask. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know, I kind of reflect on what I've been doing for the past couple of years here in this channel. You know, from making animated stickman animations to doing this. And it really made me realize that, yo, this entire creative journey for me really is just a journey for me to slowly becoming a masochist in a way. I mean, I look at all the freaking user interface shit over here and I think to myself, wow, my freaking 16-year-old me wouldn't really be into this shit if he saw what I'm doing right now. Freaking, my god. Like if you're really working in the animation or games industry, you're really gonna be exposing yourself to a lot of these complicated and mundane activities that might just make you insane. But in the end, it kind of just becomes second nature to me, I guess. It's me drawing these strokes in a 3D environment. I want to keep track of what frame it is on the timeline here, and on what object. This is where I might need the anime caught. I might have to move the camera so that it gets a good shot of this guy getting manhandled by this guy. Go. Woo! Right. Let's see. Just going for the wind up here. And then, God, my stomach is aching right now. Alright. Can maybe animate the camera here, then we can maybe end the stream from here. And then alright, let me see this in action here. Yeah, alright. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a very good dynamic camera angle. Alright, let me just see this in full action one more time. Alright, I might need to fix some frames here. Oh my god. Alright, sure, why not? I'll try to fix all of this. This one... no, I have to fix this. I have to fix this real good. me just erase some of these parts. My god. This is gonna take some time. I should have fixed the camera angles before I did all the strokes here. Oh my god. Alright, time check. It is 2 hours and 37 minutes. Okay. Alright, I'll probably end the stream here, guys. I apologize if this is, again, another one of those streams where nothing is really being done here. We did fix the camera angles though, and we finished up the last frames, but now that I'm looking at this animation from start to finish, I think I might have to re-edit some of these frames because the camera is, for some reason, not lining up anymore. I'll probably have to fix that on my off stream. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you guys like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. Now go read a book. Bye-bye.